First off, we have to congratulate Iceland, who qualified for the Euro 2016 for the first time, whilst Holland look back and think to myself, what the fuck is going on? We lose 3-0 to Turkey, and we are probably not making it. How pissed would you be if you're Robin, Van Persie, those type of guys that just, you're looking at a team like Iceland. I mean, no discredit to them, but you just, on paper, you wouldn't expect them to get to this stage, but they deservedly get recognition on the start of our clip by saying, congratulations to you guys, because you guys are making it.
There's always some sort of dark horse team that sneaks in there, and there's always some sort of powerhouse team that falls short of the wayside.
Well, sure, Greece won the Euros way back. I can't remember exactly what year, but a few years ago they won it when they hosted it.
Did they get any money for it?
I'm not sure. I don't think so.
Really,
I think they
really use it.
I think they kept it and didn't share the wealth. That's how they're still pissed off. Anyway, so with this clip, the Euros is there's still games going on tonight. I know England are looking to try and beat Switzerland. They already qualified. Wayne Rooney looking to surpass Sir Bobby Charlton in terms of his goals. He's equal with him right now, so we'll look forward to discussing that. Check out my responses on Twitter for that. But we want to talk about the teams that have a lot to prove in the Euros, because the World Cup just seems like it happened yesterday. I can't believe it's been a year, or past a year, since the World Cup has happened. Crazy how time flies when you're having fun with your bud. High fives, all right. But we want to discuss a few of the teams that we think have a point to prove, and some of them haven't even qualified yet, so they might not even be there after this clip. You might say they've got a point to prove, and then they don't make it, and then they've got a further point to prove because they need to wait until the next World Cup, or the next major competition. So the first team for me, undoubtedly so, on the tip of everyone's lips, is Spain. Disastrous World Cup. Any other words to sum it up?
Yeah, they were figured out.
Yeah.
And I can't pronounce it, but tiki-taka.
Tiki-taka.
I nailed it, actually, 100%. It was figured out, and they had a very early exit in the World Cup. So when I asked you, I think this morning, maybe yesterday, who has the absolute most to prove, I think you're a fool to not say Spain, because of their early exit. There's other teams we'll get to, I'm sure. England always has a ton to prove, always.
Yeah, because they and then Spain. Yeah, in the past, England, just to touch on that for a little bit, they create their own enemy by saying, whoa, we've got these fantastic players. We're doing very well right now. Our players are doing well in their Premier League. Combined, they're like, what the fuck is going on? That's them combining right now. The claw.
That's a very interesting combination that you were putting together. But it seems like I didn't believe you at first with the England hype machine, but now I start reading the back pages. Yeah. And they really do start stating, oh, we got Harry Kane. And with Harry Kane, we can win a World Cup. Yeah. I'm sorry, Euros 2016. Yeah. And I mean, granted, Harry Kane's a very talented individual, tremendous on the pitch, but I'm just saying you're right here with the hype machine.
And that's not just from my Scottish bias, because believe me, when you're from Scotland, and all you hear is that those down south are going to compete, and they are a better national team. I'm not going to sit here and just jeopardise my credibility by saying we're not. But the thing about with England is it gets a little frustrating, not just from that Scottish bias, but just from everyone around the world basically knowing that England is a good machine in terms of producing individual talent. They've produced some fantastic players, but it's some people take, I would say, they would take light in the fact that it's funny when they don't all mesh together, and they're like, you've got Steven Gerrard and Frank Lampard, but why have they never played really well together? They're two of the best centre midfielders in the world. You've got Wayne Rooney up top. Why are you not partnering someone with him up there that can make a good partnership? Because you've got all these good individual players. So some people take joy out of that. I don't. I think that I always said that if there was one managerial position that I would like in a national standpoint, it would be the England job. Because I feel like I could just go in and try and inspire some youth, because it seemed like they stuck to their old guns for so long. They didn't really bring in the young players like Raheem Sterling. Now they've got Harry Kane. They've got a lot of youth in their team now. And it's needed, and it is showing, because they were the first team to qualify for the Euro 2016. And trust me, that doesn't mean shite when it comes to the competition. It doesn't mean anything now. I think England didn't have the hardest group. There is teams out there, and I'm not taking away from them. Congratulations, you made the competition. That's the first step done, especially when you look back a few years ago when you relied on a last-minute David Beckham free kick to get into certain major competitions. It's good to get in there early. Now you can start to experiment with the games that are left and try and figure out a new formation. But going back to Spain. Did we start in Spain?
Well, I was going to say, going back to Stevie Gerrard, he loves not being recognized.
Oh, yeah, I heard about this. He said he's a Z-list celebrity.
You have fun with England. I'll take the managerial job at Germany and let the well-oiled machine just churn out more trophies.
Yeah, and good transition, Jason. Good job. So moving into the next point is that, right, so Spain obviously have a lot to prove. Disaster in the World Cup. Trying to inspire more youth. Trying to figure out how to play without the likes of Xavi and Iniesta being the same as they were. Xavi obviously not playing, but Iniesta still consistently playing. And they're looking to try and revamp their national team and inspire some of the youthful players to come into, like your Coques, and you're going to have to try and find a way how to work with Diego Costa up top, because he just didn't. It seemed like he was rushed into that national team for the World Cup because he had the choices to make between them and Brazil. So all eyes are going to be on Spain if they can get back to. I mean, they waited so long for a World Cup, waited so long to be dominant, and then when it happened, they were like, all right, best national team ever. And I agree. They're probably that starting 11, which seems so consistent throughout from the World Cup to the Euros, was probably one of the best national teams we've ever seen. But they've got a lot to prove. My early money is going to be on the team that just they're consistently tipped to be the winners, but they haven't reached that stage yet, even though they're considered one of the best national teams according to the rankings already. Belgium. It's because I want to see Belgium finally reach that peak. And they've got players, Hazard, Company, Courtois in goals, Fellaini, De Bruyne, Lukaku. They've got great talent in there. You want to see them mesh. I think they've got a lot to prove after the World Cup because they were a bad miss away from going out against the USA, which I talk about.
But you hold that so much against Belgium.
I don't hold it against them, but
so much against them.
They were tipped to be the underdogs to run all the way through.
If they lost to the USA in the round of 16, would you have said, you know what, they were a bad hook left shot away from not making out of the group stage, and then before that they'd be like, you know what, they were a bad miss away from not making it to the World Cup.
The game's about inches, Jason. Do you ever hear Al Pacino's speech? It's about inches. It's a game of inches.
But
no, but that game throughout, I never felt that they were comfortable against US. I felt that they had a far better team on paper, and they should have been winning that game. Obviously, the World Cup, other factors came into it.
Well, that I agree with, but on paper, that didn't. I've given up on this is a great team on paper because I have seen in my lifetime maybe two great teams on paper win a championship when they were supposed to. The 1999 St. Louis Rams, the greatest show on turf, Kurt Warner, Isaac Bruce, Torrey Holt, Marshall Faulk, Holy F.
Well, who did Holy F play for?
Holy F from St. Peter's Christian Academy in Utah.
Nice.
So moving forward, and 2009 Yankees when they bought another World Series, but it still included, Alex Rodriguez, Mark Teixeira, CeCe Sabathia.
Yeah.
Just great. In the most recent example, Kentucky Wildcats basketball.
Yeah.
Great team on paper. Those are transformers. They're also a great team on the court. No championship.
Yeah, and it comes down to like that. One thing is I must state is that despite the fact Belgium have a great team on paper, it's hard to mesh together when you don't play as consistent as you do. Like, because they don't play every week. They do have these spells and they do try and fit in friendlies. But with all those great players, you have to mesh together. So I would just like to see them come together because they are a great team on paper. But I'd like to see that kind of new formation of a national team that everyone can look to and be like, holy shit, those players are now grown into that team because it's always been Germany. It's always been, since in my time, Spain, Italy, Holland, like Brazil, all these teams are just known. So it's good to have this new blood come through, this new blood in Belgium. And I'd like to see them go forward and potentially rival any of the bigger teams. So,
all right, we need to go real quick. Matuidi, France, his screamer of a goal volley. You see it?
No, I seen it. It was almost as good as Jagielko's goal in training for England. He scored an unbelievable volley in training. Fox ran it. It was great. But over there, France, not as much to prove. Had an okay World Cup. Got some good players.
Every week, Griezmann and or Matuidi have scored screamers.
Yeah, well, two fantastic players.
Times.
And then in the last point, just to throw in, obviously, Italy, a lot to prove. Didn't make it out of the group stages. No Balotelli.
I know, he's not on the team.
Trying to make it, trying to reform their national squad as well. Like, again, a lot of aging talent in there. They're trying to bring in this new blood, and I think that they will do well in the Euro scene. They make it in. So there's my thoughts already on the teams that have points to prove, pending they make it to the Euros. Portugal as well, of course, Ronaldo. Everyone's going to talk about this. So let me know what you guys think in the comments section below. Which teams do you think have a lot to prove in the upcoming Euros? And let me know your thoughts over the games. Let me know your thoughts about whether Wayne Rooney, if he surpasses Bobby Charlton, I'll bring up my previous point. Will he be the best striker ever if he gets to 50 goals plus? For England, of course. Let me know. Subscribe to TYT Sports. Francis_Maxwell. Jason Rubin 91. Cheers.